How's your son doing?
Good, man. He's growing fast. He's big.
It's
But
crazy.
I
He's
know.
he's he's really handsome already.
Hey, thank you, man. I was always like, that's always like a fear, like growing up and you're starting to think about having kids. Like, am I gonna make an ugly kid? Or so the fact that he came out and everybody's saying that he's a cute baby, makes me feel good. So
He's super cute. The key to having a cute baby, in my opinion, is like the skinny babies are like kind of
yeah, you gotta have a chunky one.
you gotta have a chunky baby, and I could tell your son has like the legs already and the upper
Man,
body.
his thighs are so thick. Like I remember, I used to be able to wrap my whole fist around his legs, but
Hey,
now, shoot, look at these freaking thunder thighs, man.
hey, he's gonna be dunking, no problem. You
Oh
know what's
yeah.
funny is back when I used to live in Longview at that house on 21st,
Hmm.
people would come over and we'd always be chopping up about whatever, and everyone would always talk about like, man, if Kyle and Rayanne have a baby, that baby's gonna be so dope.
Yeah, well, he's here, ready to
What's
take
up, man?
over.
He seems like he's always happy from the videos and pictures I see.
Yeah, man, he doesn't really have too many bad moments. And if it is, he's sleepy, trying to fight it off, or his stomach hurt.
What what parts of him do you think looks like you, and which ones look like Ray?
Like he has my face, like eyes, nose, mouth.
Yeah,
It's all Rand's like head, like forehead and whole entire head shape
yeah.
is her. He
when
didn't get
when was he born again?
down to my skin tone yet either, but and this red hair, neither of us got that.
Will it be red? You think?
I think so. It ain't going nowhere yet.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so he gonna be a Blake Griffin.
Let's go. That's so awesome. Have you been losing sleep or ran?
Rand probably lost more than I did.
Yeah,
But now he sleeps through the night pretty consistently now. Like it's not even an issue. He just jumps right in bed with us and knocks out.
that's awesome. It seems like does your brother take care of him when you're like busy and stuff?
Yeah, he was for a minute. Now he just send him in there whenever we need a break.
That's awesome.
That's like his favorite person anyway, so he loves it.
He's super cute.
Man. But oh,
It's crazy. When I was getting ready for this, I was looking up, like your bio on like the college website. I think it was the UNCG website.
oh
Um,
yeah,
I had no idea that your mom and dad. I knew both your brothers played college ball too, but your mom and dad also did.
yeah. My mom went to Kent State. She was a D1.
That's crazy. So all five of you. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a basketball family.
yeah, and that's honestly where number 12 came from. Both my mom and dad were number 12 in college.
That's so crazy. Growing up in that household, is that like? I mean, are you guys talking sports like all day long?
I mean, really, like my mom, like once she stopped playing, she would come to our games and stuff like that. And especially when we were younger, she would teach us little tricks. Like I remember she had us out on a pavement taking charges to us and stuff like that. She taught us how to use our elbows, like try to get away with slick stuff with our elbows and things like that. But after a while, she got kind of tired of it. It was just too much. My dad, still to this day, is all basketball though. But my mom, yeah, she just was like, she let my dad take over and she just came to support.
It's crazy because most families are lucky if they have one kid or one person in the whole family that that played college athletics, and to have five for five is wild.
Yeah, bro, it was wild. I mean, just growing up in that house, it was always super competitive because those conversations at the dinner table always are like, well, who's the best shooter in the family? Or who's the best player, best scorer, best passer, best defender. So we would always get in those conversations, and of course, everybody always picked themselves. So that always started a debate, and it's still a debate now, but the debate is really just between me and Craig. Like everybody else It's not even a competition. So yeah, me and Craig kind of still go at it and debate a little bit. But I gave him the crown of he got the best shooter, but he still can't beat me, and he still can't beat me 1-on-1.
You got him still 1-on-1?
Unless we play outside. If we play outside for some reason, I cannot beat him.
Yeah.
But if we indoors, I like my chances.
The only, well, I mean, I haven't seen him play a real game, but the one big difference is like he's like a good like 6'4", right, or 6'5".
Big 6'5", legit, with a 6'9", 6'10" wingspan.
Does that make you mad that you didn't get that?
Because Lance 6'3", 6'3.5", and then me 6 foot barely with shoes on, and then Craig 6'5", so it just skipped over me.
That's messed up.
I know. If I was 6'5", I'd be in the league, man.
For sure.
A completely different conversation.
For sure. What's his like thing? What's he doing right now? I know he's getting ready for the draft, but like, do they even know like when it's going to be or anything?
Nah, so they don't know anything that's going on with the NBA right now. Everybody is dumbfounded at a loss. They pushed the combine and everything back, the draft lottery, but yeah, they're not even in a rush to decide. They're just kind of taking their time, making sure that everybody's safe. So yeah, he doesn't know what's going on, just like all the other draft prospects. But it's really just about staying ready. I mean, it's hard to get and find a gym, like you really can't get into one. So just about being creative with what we kind of do with them outside, ball handling stuff, running, keeping your stamina up, stuff like that.
Is there like specific things in his skills that he's like trying to build up during this? I mean, is there like things that he maybe had like a weakness in that he's trying to focus on, or is he kind of just doing everything?
Well, yeah, no, man. I was actually, I mean, now that I'm no longer playing, I've been blessed with the responsibility of, handling all his pre-draft training and stuff. So we put together a nice little plan for him and figured out kind of what he needs to do. He's always been a good shooter, especially from deep. He's always had the range. So just trying to make it more consistent. That's one of the focuses. And then having a tighter handle. I mean, you're going to be put in different situations. You're going to be put in, it's a lot more ISO opportunities that come up playing at that level. So being able to get by a defender 9 times out of 10 to be able to make a play for your teammate or for yourself is going to be important. And just being better, making decisions off the ball, because he's so used to playing with the ball in his hand. And when you get up there, it's not going to be like that. You're going to go on a team that's already got somebody established, being the main playmaker. So you're going to have to be able to make decisions quick off the catch. So just trying to focus on stuff like that.
Are you retired?
Yeah, man, officially.
Officially?
I didn't make an announcement or nothing, but yeah, I'm done.
When was it like you knew in your head that you were done?
It's funny because I knew. Well, I played around with the idea before my last season I played. Just wasn't sure about, playing anymore, going back. But then I was like, I'm going to give it one last shot and see how it goes. And the season didn't go the way I planned and hoped, but it was still a good season for me because that's probably my best, like the best I've ever felt body-wise, skill-wise. Because I'm at that age where they say it's like your prime. So literally everything was clicking, felt good. And when the season ended, they were talking about going overseas. And
how old are you right now?
28.
28. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that you always hear like announcers and stuff.
That's like that sweet spot.
Yeah.
So my agent was calling me saying, hey, we can go overseas. We can do this, that, whatever. And I just wasn't trying to go. I mean, I had been over there once, didn't have the greatest experience. Wasn't trying to leave Ray back. And then we found out that we were having a baby. Didn't know it was a son yet, but we were pregnant. So I was like, I really don't want to leave now. Oh my God.
Oh, you were popular?
I don't even know why.
Those all your clients? Kyle, need help on my
Oh,
shot.
that's family. My mom called me, blowing me up.
If you need to take it, go ahead.
Oh no, man, it's cool. Craig right in the next door. So if she need me, she can call him. But yeah, so I mean, we found out we were having a son, so I just didn't want to leave and go overseas and leave her by herself. And then it was like, okay, well, do you want to go back to the G League and give it another shot to try to get into the NBA? And I thought about it, but I I'd had an opportunity to come back and start training, and really dive into that, and just kind of fell in love with that
Mm.
whole entire process and everything. Being able to pass down everything that I learned to players, and Craig was now getting into, about to be a pro, going into his senior year. So I wanted to have a big hand and a big part in that. And so I just decided, it wasn't I didn't make the decision because I didn't feel like I couldn't play. I just was like, I'm at a point in my life, I'm cool with the career I had
Mm-hmm.
and where I made it. Like, I don't need to play anymore. It's not like a big passion for me anymore to play. I just want to be a part of the game somehow. So I get the same joy helping other players get there. So I'm cool with it.
When you decided that you were done, I knew after my last game of senior year in college, I was done. Like, I'm not going from D3 to the NBA. And so I was bummed. Like, I was sad. Were you sad, or was it like to the point where you were like, oh, I'm cool with it?
Nah, man. I mean, people always say like, "Hey, man, I'm at peace with the decision and all of that." And I was like, because I made it, and I really thought about it, put a lot of thought into it, talked to a lot of people in my inner circle, and I was good with the decision. But you still, go through that dark place because it's something that I was doing every single day of my life. Every workout I did, every lifting session, like every day was like geared to be a better professional basketball player. And so when that focus shifted and changed, it was like, I don't even know what I'm doing, like what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be in practice right now, and I'm not. Like, this
Yeah.
is weird. So I went through a spot where it was like, dang, man, this is crazy. Like, I wish I can go back, or what would have happened if I went back. But all in all, I was cool. You just got to get through that little phase because
Mm.
it's just an adjustment, a life adjustment, really. So
When I finished, even to this day, I like still kind of find it hard, but like I don't find myself wanting to like lift weights or like all the stuff that we had done in college. I was kind of like burnt out of it, and I just wanted to break. I didn't want to like go train or nothing, run. Have you found that to be the case for you too?
no, not quite. I'm still like really committed to my body. Uh, Still like stretching, foam rolling. Still, if I don't go, when the gyms were open, I was at Planet Fitness every day. Uh, but now that they're closed, I still do push-ups, pull-ups every morning. I don't know. I felt for me, it's more of like that makes me feel good.
Mm,
Like I found like when I was working out and playing, obviously I needed to do it, but it was something that I took joy in and I found joy in. So now it's like a lifestyle for me now. Um, I can't get in my head to have a dad bod. I just can't do it.
hey, trust me, it makes me feel good too. I just got in this lazy streak where when I got done, like I actually right after I was pretty good at staying on for like the next year or two. But then like year 3, year 4, year 5, I was like, man, what am I doing these squats for? Like,
Well,
I
see,
mean,
like I don't lift the same though. Like I don't
oh,
lift. Yeah, I just go in there I do the bare minimum just to stay toned.
mm-hmm.
Um, and if I end up missing a day, like I don't beat myself up about it. I'm just like, oh well, like get back at it. Try to get back on it tomorrow. But yeah, I try to be as committed as possible.
Wait, is that what's your dog's name again?
Rogan Xavier, that was Xavier though, the big one.
Big one.
Yeah, he got some beef with something outside.
I wanted to hop into recruitment from when you were in high school.
Yeah.
But lead like going into that, I kind of want to like set the picture for people that don't know you. I was reading your bio from your UNCG college, from going high school to college, and
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if any of this is wrong, but I just want to read this off and then I have a few questions. Kyle was AP Class A Player of the Year in the state of Pennsylvania in high school, 2-time All-State, rated as one of the top 30 point guards in the nation by ESPN.com, and one of the top 100 players in the country by MaxPreps. It said that you averaged 26 and a half for both your junior and senior year. Is that correct?
It's actually incorrect, Scott. I averaged 27 my junior year, 26 and 26 my senior year.
What's up?
You said what?
I was actually at 27 point something my junior year, and then 26 and a half was my senior year.
Okay. And led the state in scoring junior year. Is that right?
Yeah, that was a fun year.
That's crazy. There's a lot more. I gotta get all this in. Graduated school record and Mercer County record over 2,000 points, which is wild. You know, most people celebrate getting that 1,000-point mark, and you got to do it twice. Scored 33 points in the title game your senior year. You led your team to the Final Four 3 times in high school. Your team was 90 and 27 during your career. A lot of stuff, a lot of big stuff. Is any of that wrong?
No, that's all correct. And I'm still pissed off about the state championship game.
Yeah, how'd it go?
Because that was the first year that they let Philadelphia private schools play in the state tournament. So we ran up against a loaded team, Girard College or something like that, from Philly that had a dude going to Pitt. They had like some D1 football dudes. Like, we were just outmatched, like from a team standpoint. So, I mean, obviously I tried to do all I could to put us in a position to win, but it's hard beating that many people. So I think that if it was like the old rules, then we would have been good. I would have had a state championship banner up in my high school gym, but they decided to let those Philly schools in, and it just messed us up.
Was it a close game?
I think it was close in the first half. I mean, it wasn't like a blowout. I think we lost by maybe 10 points, something like that. But, you know, it is what it is. Still running the long way, though.
It's crazy. I've talked with Josh and Jure the last couple weeks, and they both lost in the state title game also.
Yeah.
And Josh mentioned that if he could have one game back, he would want that state title game over like any pro game, any college game. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I mean, because for me, like, my college career didn't really have that many like meaningful postseason games. So yeah, that's like the game that always will be in the back of my mind. Like, I wish I can get that one back. And it's nothing like playing high school basketball. Like, I don't care what anybody says. You can make it to the NBA and play pro for 15 plus years, but it's nothing like high school. You know, just being a part of that close-knit group, growing up as a teenager, and you just got the fans, the student sections is all into it, the community's all into it. So yeah, it's nothing like high school.
With all of those accolades, who was recruiting you out of high school?
My first letter, I believe, was from Penn State. They actually came to watch one of my teammates who had committed there. So they came to a practice my freshman year, and just to watch him, and they were recruiting another junior that was on my team. And they ended up liking me, what they saw in practice, and so they started recruiting me, sent me my first letter. And then from then on, it was like the floodgates open. Like, once one big school starts recruiting you and sends you a letter, everybody else gets a lot more curious. And so they did their homework, and they started following me on the AAU trail. And yeah, so I mean, it just kind of blew up from there, man. So Penn State was the first one, and then after that, I mean, Wake Forest, Michigan, Virginia Tech, Georgetown, who, man, that was a long time ago. George Mason. Yeah, it was a bunch. But like the most surprising thing was I had actually verbally committed to Stanford my junior year. Like I was ready to go there and everything. The head coach at the time was Trent Johnson, but then he left and went to LSU. So I decommitted and just, well, not really decommit, I only verbal. So just kind of opened it back up and was really leaning towards Harvard going into my senior year. Was all set to go. And the fact that they're an Ivy League school, they can only do like a 90-10 scholarship type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that 10% at an Ivy League school is still really expensive. So it's like, man, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
But I still, looking back on that, I mean, it's kind of like a little bit of regret because that year, my freshman year, I would have played with Jeremy Lin, was the year that he blew up. And so when I was on my visit, we played together on the same team in pickup, and we were cooking.
Really?
And everybody was like, man, yeah, you need to come here. Like, y'all going to be the best backcourt in Ivy League, like, da-da-da-da. And I just, didn't want to take that payment, that student loan out. So I just went with a ride to UNCG. But, yeah, man, I had a lot of big schools, but I decided not to go big because a lot of those bigger schools wanted me to go to prep school because I was graduating at 17. And I was like, I'm not doing another year of high school. Like, I think that I'm ready now. And I want to go somewhere where I can play now. So UNCG was a spot for me at the time. They really just gave me the keys to the city from day one. Had me on billboards, magazine covers,
really?
Sent me out on all the flyers and everything for the recruits, other recruits coming in. So yeah, they gave me the keys to the city, and we had a crazy non-conference schedule. So it was like, this is what I want. This is everything I dreamed of as a kid, to be able to play these big time schools and all of that. So it was just fun.
What was the coolest atmosphere of those big schools you went and played at?
Cameron Indoor Stadium. My first college game ever was there. And so I had been there before, and like one of the biggest misconceptions is it's like a huge arena, but it's really not. It's super small. But I had never played in the gym when it was like a Duke game. I'd only been there for AAU, so like the stands aren't packed at AAU games there. So my freshman year, that was the first time I had been in there in a game atmosphere. And first game of the year, all their students are out. It's rocking in there. And so you couldn't even hear yourself think. Like, I'm out here trying to call plays. My teammates are out there like, what? Like, what? And so, and it was crazy. Like, one of the craziest things was, like, going to school in North Carolina, if you're at a smaller school, the students at your school are either Carolina fans or Duke fans still. Yeah. And so I'm in the layup line, and I'm looking in the Cameron Crazy student section, and I see people that are in my class. Face painted, like all cheering for Duke and everything. I'm like, man, I got to see you tomorrow. Like, this is crazy. But
yeah, who was on that team?
That was a national championship year. So Nolan Smith, John Shire, Kyle Singler, Zubek, Plumlee brothers. Yeah, all of them.
Hey, welcome to college.
Right, exactly. Lance Thomas. Yeah, all of
that was a good team. What was the hardest skill transition from high school to college?
For me, because I was never a big-time three-point shooter, I mean, it wasn't that I couldn't, I just never did. And so in college, I played in a lot of pick and rolls, and so they do a lot more scouting. So they just kept going under on me, and I just wasn't shooting. Couldn't make them pay. So I was still trying to get in the lane and do stuff like that. But so, I mean, like, the speed of the game was fine. I didn't have that big of a deal adjusting to that. The physicality wasn't a big deal. It was really just kind of being able to shoot that three consistently and just making the right reads. Just because of the scouting reports are so detailed, they force you to make a decision and to make the right one, or it's going to be a turnover, especially playing against those ACC schools. It was like that really opened my eyes a little bit going into my sophomore year and junior years and stuff like that.
So you did 3 years there, is that correct?
Yeah, 3 years.
And then what made you decide to transfer your senior year?
We had a coaching change. So my head coach, he got fired. I want to say 10 games into my junior year, and the new coach that took over, me and him just didn't have the same idea of what my role should be on the team. Up until that point, I had always been a scoring point guard, and so when he took over, the new guy took over. And side note, like kudos to him, he's turned the program around. He's still there, Wes Miller. But when he took over, he wanted me to be a true point guard, like pass first, get the ball out of your hands and feed it to the wing. And that just wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
I mean, did he not read your high school bio?
well, but the reason why it was so frustrating was because he was an assistant before he got the head job, and he was the one that was doing like a lot of my individual workouts. And so he knew I could score. He just didn't want that for his offense. Like he wanted his main scoring to come from the wings in his offense that he ran and not from the point guard. And so my minutes went way down. I went from playing like 32, 33 minutes a game down to 16.
Were you starting?
No, I lost my starting job. Like I started every game of my career up until he took over, and then lost my starting job and was still playing like 16 minutes a game, which at the D1 level, like you can't really complain, or at any level playing after high school. If you're playing double-digit minutes, like you got to be, okay with that because a lot of people aren't even playing. So I was still getting decent minutes, and I was playing good. Like I would come off the bench and get double figures. Like that year we played Duke, I was our leading scorer. I had 12 points at Duke, all of that. But going into that next year, I just didn't want to trust him with my senior year. With already having taken my starting job away from me and trying to change how I play and all of that, it just was best that, I left and tried to find a new home. And I actually did. I mean, I found a great spot at Central Michigan. It was actually like a match made in heaven for me. So no complaints.
Did you have to sit out a year?
Nah, because I graduated in 3 years. So I got to play right away as a grad transfer.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
So then Central Michigan senior year went well.
Yeah. That was a fun year. Entirely new coaching staff, new team, young team. So I was one of 3 seniors, and really I was the only senior that actually like got major minutes. Like the rest of the 4 other guys in the starting lineup were freshmen, and the first 2 guys off the bench were freshmen. So just playing with a young team, it really allowed me to like develop my leadership skills and to kind of show them the right way to work. Like it didn't result into a lot of wins for us just because we were so young and they just didn't know the college game yet. But the fact that they were all, locked in and willing to learn and listen was all that I cared about. And so after I left, 2 years, like by the time they were juniors, they were winning conference championships and stuff like that. So just knowing that I had a hand in that and, teaching them the ropes makes me feel good and, lets me know that I did something right when I was there.
Yeah. So from there, finishing out the year, like what are the next steps from going to college ball to turning pro? Like I literally don't even know what you do next.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of different routes you can take. A lot of people do like pro exposure camps where they got scouts from overseas that come and watch. Some people do NBA workouts, do the combine and do that stuff. I actually didn't do any of that. I went and worked out for that summer. I went out to Vegas and worked out with Gary Payton for 2 weeks. And after working out with him.
With the dad or the kid?
The dad, but I mean, his son worked out with me though. And so, yeah, we worked out and for 2 weeks while I was out there. Then I went to Phoenix and trained there with Mike Bibby and just kind of got ready. and ended up getting a call to go to training camp with the Kings for summer league. Went and played well in training camp, made the roster, and so played in summer league with them for going into my rookie year. It didn't really amount to anything from making an NBA standpoint, but just being able to get my name in that industry and in that market and on the radar helped me. So it helped me get drafted in the D League at the time to Fort Wayne.
How did the Kings even track you down though? Like how how'd they know that you were
networking, man.
available?
I was fortunate enough to know he's a mentor of mine, and he's really well known in the basketball space. So he called me the day of my last game at Central Michigan, and he said, "Look, if you go out here and you get the scoring title for your conference, so that means you got to have 30 plus points this last game." He was like, "If you do this, I'll get you a Nike shoe deal, and I'll get you into training camp with an NBA franchise." And so, when somebody tells you that, it's like you locked in, ready to go. And literally, he called me and told me that the day of the game. And so, I actually had 2 points in the first half of that game and finished with 32.
Dang.
We lost, so it didn't mean nothing, but I did what I had to do, and he delivered on his word. Like that next week, I went back down to North Carolina because Ray was still in school there playing softball. So I went back down to kick it with her for a little bit, and I had a Nike package waiting on me when I got there. Just like 5 pair of shoes, a bunch of shirts, book bag, all of that kind of stuff. And then he was the one who got me to look with the Kings. So yeah, he delivered on his word, and extremely grateful and appreciative of that. So
From finishing your last game at Central Michigan to then going to summer league, is that right? Summer league was the next step.
Yeah.
Was that a big jump, like as far as level of play, or did it feel comfortable?
From a game standpoint, it felt comfortable, but just from like being in that, like, oh shoot, like I'm here, like mindset type standpoint, it took me a minute to kind of figure it out. Because when I was in training camp with them, they had just hired a new coach, Mike Malone. And so he had brought down a bunch of Kings players because he was just trying to get to know them and trying to let them get to know his system that he was going to put in. So IT showed up, Boogie showed up, Jimmy Fredette, Costa Koufis, Marcus Thornton. They all came and just practiced with us. So being able to go against them, it was cool, but it was like, dang, like I'm really not as good as I thought I was. Because it's like, yeah, I'm nice, but when you see pros and like get a chance to go against them, it's like, dang, you still got a lot of work to do. And so that kind of set me back mentally because it was like, okay, I'm just not there yet. And that kind of shook my confidence a little bit, but it made me, it just kind of adds fuel to the fire though. It makes you want to get better. And so that's what it did for me. But I still felt comfortable. I just wasn't ready.
Yeah. Was the gap between the G League guys on that summer league team and those pros that showed up, was that big?
With IT, yes. Like you can tell, like the good ones, there's a gap. With the other guys, like the guys who are 8 through 15 on the NBA roster, the gap is not that big. But those main guys on the NBA roster, yeah, the gap is big. And it's really like, I don't even know how to explain it because it's not like big, like they're just outworldly, like gifted. They're just, I don't know. It's like the reps that they put in, they just are like machines. They don't miss.
Right.
So watching them go out there and perform at a high level, is just crazy. And their understanding of like the game and how it's supposed to flow and how it's supposed to work. Like IT came down and he had never ran the offense, and we had been running it for a week. He never ran it at all. They just drew up the play for him on the sideline and threw him out there in the scrimmage, and he was the best player on the floor. And it's like, to be able to be the best player on the floor without having any idea of what the offensive scheme is, like, you're really good to do that, especially when you're on the floor with pros. Like, there's nobody else out here but pros.
Yeah.
And you're still the best one out here. So that's when I actually became a fan of his, seeing him up close. But yeah, it was the gap with players like that is pretty big.
Did you have to guard him?
Yeah, I got to guard him a few times. That little half spin is real. Like, it's not just, people see it on TV and they be asking, like, it's so simple. Like, how does it work, man? It's real. And I can't even tell you how it worked, but that burst of speed out of that thing, crazy.
Right. Who was the best player at that summer league that you guys faced? Someone that you were impressed by?
Let me think, because
what year was that? Like, who would have been in that draft?
that was Ben McLemore's year.
Okay.
So 2013. Yeah, 2013.
What's his name? The big dude was drafted by Sacramento that year too, right? From Kentucky, or
no, that was the next or 2 years. College Stein.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my first year with them, it was Ben McLemore. They took him number 7, and then they took Ray McCallum, point guard, in the second round. And Ray actually cooked out there. Crazy story about him and Floyd Mayweather. Like, he cooked with like, Floyd came and watched the games one day, and that was the game that Ray went off. And Floyd like brought him to the side for the game and was like, "Hey man, you coming to kick it with me tonight? Like, it's cool." So Floyd took him out in Vegas, and they went and hooped at Lifetime. He just got to kick it with Floyd. So it was a good experience for him, and it was fun for me just being able to hear the stories. But yeah, I can't even remember who really did like great at summer league.
Yeah.
To me, it was like a down year. It wasn't anybody really standing out like that. I mean, there were some big games, but it just wasn't like super consistent. But yeah, it was fun though, just being out there in that atmosphere. All the NBA players from teams come back and watch and interact with everybody, so it was cool.
So from there, you've played on several teams in the G League, right?
Mm-hmm.
Several different ones, and then you also played overseas.
Yeah.
What is the pros and cons of each? I mean, like, comparing those two, G League and overseas.
One of the biggest benefits and pros of playing in the G League is you're right there. Like, scouts at every game. You're underneath an NBA organization, so guys are being sent up and down all the time. You're in the States. And so you just have that access to the NBA literally at your fingertips if you do what you're supposed to do. One of the downfalls of it is it's really political. And it's kind of every man for himself. I mean, you're starting to see a little more team camaraderie now because it's more one-to-one. Every team has a one-to-one now. But back in my rookie year, it was still like 4 NBA teams affiliated with one G League team. So it was like every man for himself. Just, I'm trying to get a call up, you trying to get a call up, he trying to get a call up. So we just got to go hoop and get ours. So that can be one of the downfalls. But in overseas is cool if you go to the right situation. I know a lot of players who made a lot of money over there and, are blessed to be in great situations. But I also know the other side of it too. Like, starting out, you got to start at the bottom if you're not a big time name. And when you start at the bottom, it's literally that. Like, you're in a country all by yourself. Might not be a lot of Americans on your team. You're in not a big time city, so not a lot of English is spoken in the city that you may be in. Facilities are not nice. Like locker rooms horrible, weight rooms horrible. Um, so it's definitely a grind over there, and just that being away from the States and somewhere like all your family and friends and stuff like that is tough. Uh, so I mean, but if you can stick it out and you can push through it, there's definitely a lot of money to be made over there for sure.
What's your view on what's going on right now with the G League and offering these kids out of high school? What's your take on all that?
I love it because I feel like it forced the NCAA to make a decision. And it's a decision that the NCAA should have made a long time ago. So the fact that the G League wanted to step in and provide another option, another route for these top prospects, I think is really, innovative and creative. And I think it's really going to do a lot of benefit to the game of basketball,
Right.
just giving these kids an opportunity, because it's not like they're not throwing them to the fire right away. Like they're not playing a full G League season. They're going to play like 10 to 12 G League teams in like exhibition type games. And then after that, they're just getting in work. Like they're going, getting a bunch of film study in, learning the game, how it works, getting mentored off the court, how to handle it from a lifestyle standpoint. And just really just learning the ropes, which is I think is one of the biggest adjustments. It's not even about basketball; it's off the court stuff.
Right.
Being able to how to manage your money, how to manage your time, how to manage the people around you, stuff like that. Like that's bigger than playing, because you've been playing your whole life. You're gonna catch up at some point and figure that out.
Yeah.
So being able, like the fact that they're trying to provide the other stuff, I think is really good.
If you were a 5-star high school senior right now that had the opportunity,
I'm going.
You're doing the G League route.
No question about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out.
So would you go exactly what like Jalen did?
Yeah. Just because, I mean, opportunities like that, like there's no guarantee that if you go to college, you're going to get drafted. Like you can get hurt season ending. So if they offering me this money right now, school ain't going nowhere. I can get my degree in the off season whenever.
Yeah.
But this basketball thing, especially at this level, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So if I get that offer and get that chance to make money that's going to change me and my family's life, I got to take it. And the thing about it, like, I mean, up until this point, if you were a 5-star recruit, the college team that you were going to go to was probably already trying to throw some money your way anyways.
Yeah.
So why not, go to the league and bypass all the violations and illegal stuff and risking the chance of getting caught?
Yeah.
And I can just go right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be tough to say no.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I get it. Like me going to college, I know that there are a bunch of benefits to go to college and get that experience and, learn about who you really are and all that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, I get that just because I played it, but it's also like, man, you're in the NBA, dude, at a high school.
Yeah.
There's nothing, you can't really pass that up if you get that opportunity.
Yeah. I think my opinion on it, the part that I really like that you said is it takes away the risk of not getting drafted. Like you instantly become ingratiated into the league.
Right. And I mean, and they still have to get drafted the next year, but they already got a bunch of money in their pocket. Like Jalen Green, he about to make $1 million before he even enters the draft. So even if he gets hurt and doesn't get drafted or falls low in the draft and gets exposed, whatever, he still got $1 million in the bank.
Right.
Well, can't be too mad at him.
Yeah, 18-year-old millionaire.
Right.
When you start getting paid to play basketball, like you were, does the game of basketball change?
Yeah, a little bit. It becomes more of a business and a job than it does like just playing for the love and passion of it. And so now, Like now that I'm retired, and I get a chance to talk to players now, and the one thing I try to tell them is never lose sight of like why you started playing basketball. Because if you can maintain the passion and love for it and, you know, have the business mindset of it come second, then you have a chance to have a long career.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to do because it is such a business, and it's your job. Like that's how people feed their families. So it's hard to do that, but I think the best ones and the ones who have long careers are the ones who still maintain that love for the game.
Mm-hmm. It's funny the way that you said that you were retired, and like your brain had to like
I had to think about it still.
I had to think about it. That's like when I'm telling people I'm 30 years old now. I'm like, am I 30?
Am I 30? Yeah. I mean, yeah, man. It's like because I can still play. Like if I got a training camp invite to a G League team or even an NBA team for next season, like I'm very, very confident that I'm gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even working out like I normally do. Like I don't do workouts no more. I train people. Like I'll still go out and shoot and play one-on-one and pickup games, but I don't get the reps up that I used to get up as I was when I was trying to play. But I'm still very confident just because I just know the game now.
Mm-hmm.
I've played it for so long. Like there's nothing new that's going to be thrown at me that I haven't already seen. So it's like, I'm cool.
Yeah. Something just popped in my head. I realized it must be frustrating talking basketball as Kyle Randall to 99% of the people you meet.
Why you say that?
Because you've done it for longer at a higher level. You're like a scientist that has been in the lab for 30 years trying to talk to people that, took science in high school.
I mean, it can be frustrating at times, but I'm a hoop junkie, so I just like talking hoops. So, and I'm always interested in hearing people's perspectives on it, right? Because even people who don't play, they think they know so much, and to hear how they like got to that decision or got to that opinion is interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I like talking hoops with people. And oftentimes, like if people don't know me, I try not to tell them that I played professionally. Like I try to keep that a secret as long as I can,
Mm-hmm.
just because I don't even want that to affect or alter this conversation in any way. So, but yeah, I mean, it can be frustrating at times because sometimes it's just like, all right, you really just don't know what you're talking about. But for the most part, though, I mean, I love it.
All right, I've stolen a lot of your time. I got 3 more questions. Actually, I meant maybe 4. First one is, was there anyone that you played while you were pro that you were like, man, how is this person not in the NBA?
How is he not in the NBA?
Yeah, like did you ever play against or with someone and you were shocked, like, man, how is this person not playing on TV?
Yeah, Pierre Jackson. He dropped my rookie year. He dropped 58 on us. I didn't play I didn't play the whole first half. He had maybe 30 in the first half, just cooking, already in the zone. And then my coach comes down to the bench and picks me. He's like, hey, go in the game, check in. And this is your matchup. Like, what you expect me to do?
And he's already magma hot.
Oh, he's already cooking. Like, there's nothing like I know how it feels to be in one of those zones. And he was in one of those zones. Like, there's nothing that you can do as a defender. I don't care how good of a defender you are. Like, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So I just had to take my lumps like everybody else did that game.
He's crazy. His mixtape from Baylor was one of my favorites of all time. I love it.
Yeah, man. He was really, really good. I mean, he still is. But back then it was like, yeah, I don't know how you didn't get a call up or how you haven't gotten one yet. But yeah. That's how it is sometimes.
Rank in order Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan. Yeah, and I just want to know your opinion. I'm not saying like
Oh yeah.
I want to know your favorites.
Me personally, Kobe's number one. Um, my number two. My number two is hard because I I like Jordan at that spot, but I didn't really witness or watch him play. It was just a bunch of highlights that I've seen.
Yeah.
Um, so it's easy for me to put LeBron there because I've been watching him, still watching him. So he's just current and fresh in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But after watching this Last Dance, it's like Jordan's number two, LeBron's my number three.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's just like my really biased opinion, Kobe's my number two and Kobe's my number one, KD's my number two. He just don't got the accolades and the reward, the awards to really go against them three, but skill-wise,
crazy.
Unreal.
Crazy. 7 foot, just killer.
Yeah. Doing whatever you want to do.
Okay, last question. I'd love to hear about like what you're doing right now with your game winner program, and then just like any goals that you have with that, or just coaching in general.
Yeah, man. So game winner game stands for goals, attitude, motivation, expectation. And so it's always been a passion of mine to have a impact on the community that I'm in. Mm-hmm. I feel like, with the platform that you're blessed with as a professional athlete, like you have a responsibility to give back to that next generation and give back to the community. And so for me, it's easy to give back with basketball. Like that's what I do. But I also wanted to take it a step further because of where I come from and where I grew up. Wasn't the best neighborhood. A lot of people don't make it out. And a lot of times it's a mindset thing. Like they just didn't know the importance of setting a goal, didn't know the importance of having and maintaining a good attitude, didn't know how to stay motivated, didn't know how to set an expectation and then live up to that expectation that they set for themselves. So it's like being able to teach kids that at a young age, I feel like that's going to help them be successful, not just in basketball or in the sport that they're playing, but just in life in general. Because at the end of the day, if I train 10 kids, only one of them is going to play pro. That's just the nature of the beast. And so the rest of the other 9 of you, I still have to give you guys something to be successful. And so, yeah, the basketball stuff I'm giving you to be successful in high school and hopefully college if that's their goal. But the ball's going to stop bouncing for the majority of you. I still want to leave an impact on you and help you be successful in something. Mm-hmm. So that's where, that's what I'm trying to do with that whole, with game winner. Just teach them that kind of stuff. And just to give them somebody that they can actually see and touch and know that this is possible, Mm-hmm. I think it's a blessing for the kids in Tacoma and Seattle because people like Jamal and IT and all of them, they're really close in their community. Mm-hmm. And so the kids up there, they think oh yeah, this is possible. Look, they did it and they're back here still and they're giving back to the community. I got a shot.
Right.
I think if you're a pro in a community, you need to do that because now you're, setting the tone and giving these kids just that confidence and self-belief that, hey, there's a chance that I could do it. I mean, he did it. He's from here. And he's willing to teach me and pass down knowledge that he's learned. Mm-hmm. So why not try? So yeah, I'm just trying to do that, man. All positivity, trying to impact the community and help these kids be successful.
Love it, bro. Thank you for letting me steal an hour of your night. I appreciate it.
All good. It was enjoyable. I loved it.
You're my guy. All right, bro.
All right.
Hey.
Man. Say peace out, Scotty P.
Peace out. I can't wait to meet him in person.
I know. Get all this gimmick stuff out the way.
Once this all clears up, I'm coming through.
Bet, man. Bet.
All right, bro. I appreciate you.
All right, brother.